Hello, Leo. Hopefully you guys can see me now. Good to see all of you. It's a rainy day here in Southern California. Just coaxed Apollo out on a very short walk. I hope all of you that are going through some inclement weather are doing well. Let me put down this little bundle of joy and let's get started on the forecast. All right. As I just said, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Together we're going to take a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks. Again, this is going to be for the sign of Leo, and we're going to hopefully help you unlock potential. That's what I try to do here. So good to see all of you. I always like to begin with channeled messages, and channeled messages for me come through a combination of both dreams and meditation, and I actually use both methods today. So we're going to look at both of those and really help you get tapped into your potential. All right, let's get going here. So this morning, as I was meditating, actually crows and ravens came to mind. And often when I'm meditating, I can't tell which is which. I just got the energy of like a crow or a raven, and we're going to talk about both. There's also from dreams a really important message about being prepared. And for some of you, maybe sort of like figuring out if there's a challenge or a battle that's really worth your time and energy. So let's get into these. All right. First things first, let's talk a little bit about the crows. To me, this is always a sign of using your intelligence, about really being strategic. And what I saw was an image of also like a protective sort of mothering energy, which is why I chose the Empress here, but like territorial. There definitely was a territorial vibe. But what I was appreciating through this was the image of getting a higher perspective, using intelligence to negotiate any challenge in front of you. There's also loyalty associated both with crows, and we're going to talk about it at greater length with ravens. So just extending a thank you to somebody, showing that appreciation, it goes a long way. And at the end of the day, they remind us to use our head to get a full picture of what's going on and to protect what matters most. I actually have a little bit more fun here when I was researching the ravens, and this was something that I came across a few weeks ago, and I thought whenever this actually comes into my mind as something we talk about, I filed it away as useful. I didn't know this, but I guess there's this sort of play and symbiotic relationship that happens with wolves in particular and ravens. And in the video, I was watching as the raven would basically play catch, like pick up a twig and throw it. And then also sometimes it would swoop down and play around with the young cubs, basically wolf cubs. What's cool about ravens is they have the ability to memorize faces, both human and animal. And so what basically they start to do is create a bond with that, with the, I'm sorry, Apollo, what are you doing in the background? My little cub back here is driving me crazy, so we're going to pick him up for a second. So basically what they do is they create a bond, just like I am, with the wolves. And this later ends up being pretty important because it allows them to have this sort of symbiotic hunting kind of relationship. So what happens sometimes is a raven may come across a carcass, but it can't access the protein because their beaks can only go so far, so they alert the wolf. So far as sometimes even creating a call to bring the wolf in. Sometimes they simply kind of show them where the next meal may be. And then as a result, the wolf doesn't eat everything and they clean up the mess afterwards. So I love that there was this teamwork. It seems appropriate that Apollo comes up for this. So thanks, Apollo. Now maybe relax in the background for Dad. I know, it's so hard. Basically, he gets jealous. I figured this out. He knows that I'll eventually go over there and say hi. So that's him finding a way to get to me. So what you really want to be looking at is a mutually beneficial relationship. And there may be something where basically you scratch someone's back, they scratch your back, and it all works out in the end. And I really thought it was cool, especially that they play. And play is an important part of work, by the way. So have you ever been, this is particularly for those of you that still work in offices or have a traditional job, but have you ever been with a boss or a coworker where they never just slow down long enough to like say hi and check in for a second before, like it is almost like they're dive bombing in and saying, where's this? What's going on with this? Have you done this? And it's like, whoa, hello, how you doing? Good to see you too. So play isn't just about playing, it's also about having a playful exchange between each other and knowing that it's going to be a lot easier to work with someone, for someone, when there's a sense of camaraderie. So working on creating that camaraderie can help, especially with challenging people, and just letting people know sometimes you need a warm up. Say before you come in, if you could just say hi, even if it's And this is really, it might be important for people that are neurally divergent and don't always understand that too. Or some of you may be, and it's just important to kind of like check in. Even if it doesn't always feel good for you, it feels good for the other person. Ask them too, like, what's your communication preferences or what's your style? Some people don't want to be texted after a certain time. Some people may prefer a phone call to email. Like, figure it out. Everybody's different. And once you know that, you can really be successful in working together. And it's just a couple extra steps here or there, and then it's a mutually beneficial experience. All right. Now, the next piece was kind of important here, and this was about not hitting the snooze button. I get this feeling that there's an opportunity to shine, and some of you are fatigued. You're working a lot. Maybe you're just kind of not seeing the feedback that you need on something, and you're like, I'm done. Just about the time that you think you're done with something, you may get called in and asked to do something, and people may follow up and say, hey, what's the progress on this? And you think, oh, darn it, I should have been finishing up everything. So my advice for you this month, because you can avoid it, we're watching this way in advance, is just finish everything you set out to do. And in fact, kind of like I do future research sometimes on things, or if I'm curious about certain things in nature, whatever. In college, I actually had like almost enough credits to get a geology minor for no reason except that I love learning about the earth. So I'm a curious person. But you never know when some of the research comes in handy. It gives you this rich knowledge to pull from. So do the research, do the homework, and follow the passion too. And if there's something you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work anymore anyway. But what I can infer from this sort of being caught unprepared thing is, one, you're going to have a chance to shine. That's the good piece. Two, you can show your knowledge, but you can also show your lack of knowledge. So let's do the previous, not the latter, and be ready to answer the tough questions. You're going to get respect for doing that. Okay? Finally, I saw a snake biting the hand of someone that was feeding it. Very clear symbol to me, definitely connected to the strength card. And for this, it could show a parting of ways, or also just a really difficult situation where, for some of you, maybe it's about managing up. So if you are working in an office, for instance, this is about trying to overcompensate for someone that may have a higher pay grade or title, but they're not doing their job. You're trying to do them a favor. They could actually bite back because it's like, well, stick to your swim lane because they don't want to look bad, etc. This happens in relationships. You don't have to be working or in school to have this. It could be your partner. It could be a family member. You try to help someone. You try to do them a favor, and it backfires. So the strength card is a reminder that there are a finite amount of times that you can sometimes make someone do something that you want them to do. She gets away with it in this card, but I like to also kind of project out thinking, I wouldn't want to do this long term. I wouldn't always want to have my hands in the face or in the jaws of a beast. There comes a point where it doesn't make sense. And so you really have to figure out, is it worth the trade-off of trying to convince or trying to manage someone who doesn't want to be managed, right? The cool thing with the strength card and this message, or the snake, strength and snake, very similar sort of things, because it's about power. And it's just like, why use your power in places where it's not appreciated? That was something that it took me a very long time to understand because, as you know, I spent over 15 years working in a regular 9-to-5 job, and it was more than that. It was like weekends too. But I just finally realized this isn't it, and I wasn't appreciated. So there comes a point where it's just, there's a better use of your time and energy. So I like all of the messages today, and I think that the thing that I really want to kind of focus on is where you can really shine intellectually, where you can be all you can be. And let's dig into the cards now. We're going to go into the Celtic Cross now. The Celtic Cross is going to cover the next 6 to 8 weeks. You can use this for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. We're going to look at Sun, Rising, and Moon a little bit later. So hang out, if you will, and let's see what's coming through for the sign of Leo in April. Yay, we got the Success card coming through. Love the Six of Wands. Love the Eight of Wands. Love the Star. It's very nicely connected. We've got some reversals which are interesting. So some of the energy you may be resistant to it, or it's the change, your resistance to change. Okay. And knowing what you need to do, but maybe not being quite ready for it. I actually love what I'm seeing here. Big changes on the horizon for you. Couple points of like hiccups here, especially like with death and judgment. It's about accepting and sort of like embracing where the change wants to take you. And that's always the hardest part. It doesn't matter sort of like how aware you are. I totally get it. All right, let me just zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Let's continue, and then we'll get started here with the catalyst in just a second. Sorry, wrong one. I wanted to take off my picture so you could see. There we go. Ah, look at that with the wolf. Synchronicities abound, no mistakes, right? I don't know why. After all these years of reading cards, I still get excited when I see something super synchronistic. We have two cards sticking together here, so we'll just let them be together. And let's see. We'll use this one. All right, let me just do one thing, and then we can maybe zoom back a little bit. All right, so let me zoom out just a bit so you can see everything more. And we'll talk about the catalyst in just a moment. All right, here we go. Let's begin with the wolf. So this is your catalyst card. Wolf, it says wolf and then pathfinder. And this is very nicely connected to the kind of communication. Remember, you don't have to do this alone because now there's almost like this spirit, crow, or raven that's with you as well. But it says, release the past and start a new journey. You are a teacher and you help others find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. So many words on this card, so many things. So let's pull it down to the essentials here. The key thing here is figuring out your direction, pathfinder. The other things, if I were to kind of like pull out a few things here, is that you may not be looking so much to others for the path, but within. You're the teacher. So we kind of look at hermit and high priest or hierophant energy here. So there's wisdom, and the wisdom is within, even though it might be more fun or easier or less work to look exterior. These are the things I'm picking up on when I see this. And the teamwork thing, which is kind of cool, is there may be someone around you where, and it could be a short-term sort of engagement where there is that symbiotic relationship. It may not be the sort of obvious match, but they're there nonetheless. Let's do a quick glance at the cards before we take it card by card, and let's just see what the overall energy is looking like this month. So I can't help but go straight to you, and you're basically death and transformation, and it is about people waiting for you to take that first step. We have rebirth right after it. Guess what we have right here? Birthing. So we have death, we have rebirth, and we have birth. There's a cycle change for you. A really big, obvious cycle change for you. Like, I can't avoid it, obvious. So that's kind of cool. And when I'm looking at those kind of symbiotic relationships, it is about trusting yourself and your high priestess, inner high priestess energy. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take it card by card, but I do see this success energy at the center, and that could be the hardest piece for some of you, is the visibility and the success. I believe I got the star for today, so if you want to get a deeper read on the star, you can check out the daily card pull as well. But let's go into the center. Six of Pentacles, first and foremost. This is the heart of the spread, and it's all about choices. The good news with the Six of Pentacles is you have everything you need for success, but there are going to be some choices of when and how much now. So the main difference between like the Six of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, for instance, is you're going to have to decide, for instance, if you want everything, you can't have it all now, but you could maybe have it over the course of several months. So if you're willing to be patient, you can probably get all that you want, but you're going to have to save and invest and do it in pieces. So you could change scope. If you want it right now, you could do less, but have it now. So you can either do it all and have it later, or less and have it now, or you pull in support, you need extra money or people, and then that can make something happen now. So basically it's getting realistic and deciding how much is also necessary. When it comes to what I was talking about in the channel messages with the strength card or the snake, this is also how much do I want to keep investing in this person, place, or thing? Does it give me a return on my investment, or does it just exhaust me at the end of the day? So these are only questions that you can answer, but ultimately with this, it tells me that you're going to have enough to get the job done, to get your goals completed, and to really shine, as long as you say no when you need to say no, as long as you ask for something if it's not enough, and as long as you're realistic. So be realistic, be real, and know that it's good to have a goal, but it's also good to live in reality. So we kind of see this picture perfect view of how everything should be. And now we're trying to kind of ground this in reality, okay? Not everything is exactly what it looks like on TV or a magazine, right? As we look at what's crossing that, the good news is we have success, and success is within your hands. And let's zoom in closely on this card because there's some cool stuff in this nest. Also not accidental that we're having a crow and a bird, a crow and a wolf. And it's kind of, it is showing what I talked about earlier, which is the desire or the need to kind of go bird's eye view, remembering what you're trying to do, and then have yourself or someone else doing the groundwork and laying the groundwork. That's kind of what I see. Go high, and then also make sure that you haven't forgotten about all of that sort of important groundwork. So when we look closely at the nest, we see a dice, a single dice, it looks like, or die, whatever it's called, flower, coin, and some other stuff. And so the key thing that I'm looking at here is a calculated risk whenever I see anything that's related to chance. And then when I also see the crown atop the bird, this is about success. We have messages. Well, it almost looked like it was a carrier pigeon there with the message thing. So what I'm looking at is all these different aspects that go into success. Success isn't something that just happens. It's something that you build. It's something that you nurture. Instead of the typical egg there, it's all of these pieces that go into success. Never underestimate how much work it takes for you or for someone else, and never take for granted once you've gotten it, like you worked hard to get here. That was actually, I think, the closing words of what I said for today, the one card reading with the star. I'm doing this live on March 10th if you want to go back and listen to it. But I'm like, you worked really hard to get to this point. And the interesting thing was we were looking at how you have to go through like the devil and the tower and all of that. Well, now in today's reading here, you're going beyond the star, and we actually get like final cards here, like the number 20, right? With judgment. So you're really gonna take off if you're ready and willing to embrace this new version of yourself. Success is subjective when we're looking at what people quantify as success. It's how you feel. Do you feel good about who you are, what you're doing, where you're at? If so, you're exactly where you need to be. Do it because it feels right. A lot of eyes are on you. We can see it in the wings of the birds here, but also there's a lot of messages of support coming through as I'm looking at this. So takeaways. Success is subjective. Don't worry if someone else deems you successful or unsuccessful. Don't let it go to your head or heart. Do something because it feels right. Then my subjective view of success is that as long as you are growing and as long as you are continuing to make yourself or the world a better place, then that's success. And then keep on building the nest of success. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Okay? Patience. Patience is key. Looking at the deep past and the recent past, karmically, energetically, many of you have just been really passionate about something. The passion wants to come out now and play because we have the Princess or the Page of Cups here. And this is an offering or a communication of, again, what it is that you have to offer to the world here. Pages infuse, each of the pages infuse their messages with their gift. So the Page of Cups is infusing the communication gift with passion, emotion, and I would also say sort of like honesty is coming through. Honesty and integrity are what's coming through intuitively to me. So it's really putting your heart into something when you say yes to someone, when you say I love you, whatever it is that you communicate. If you lead with the heart or you pull that heart energy out through the throat chakra, it's going to be really important and very successful this month. So that's the message there. There could also be someone coming into your life that's offering love or friendship or partnership. And we see this, it's because you're shining brightly, because your integrity, because your energy is very alluring right now. So with this energy of the star, I'm just going to put this here so that the glare is gone. With the energy of the star, that's really inviting. People, don't be surprised if there are more eyes on you, if more people are paying attention to who you are, what you have to say. It seems like it's also something that you might be manifesting yourself here, even if it's not on a conscious level, subconsciously you are. So we see success, we see movement when it comes to relationships. And what's really cool here is it feels like you're very much engaged with whatever it is that you're working on, or you're getting a lot of inspiration. The card is reversed, so it's saying don't lose yourself in the shuffle, don't lose the vision of what it is that you're trying to do. It feels like it's going to be a busy month ahead, and it feels like you're going to be using all parts of your intellect, all of your different gifts. This is where I really said you have a chance to shine when I was channeling earlier. So if you do the homework, if you offer your insights, and if you show up when you need to show up, you may be surprised at just how successful you are and just how much people see you in a different light. Because that can actually be just what the star is. It's a spotlight, and it's shined on you in such a way that people are like, oh, you can do that? That's you did this? So take people by surprise in a really cool way. There's nothing better than to say, yeah, I can do that, or yes, I did that, absolutely. Or yes, I'm interested. And there could also be someone questioning your ability to do this. Are you sure you want to? This is a lot of responsibility. As long as you truly are, step up with confidence and say, yeah, I wouldn't have offered if I wasn't interested. Okay, so there's a chance to redefine, to step up. And the main thing for you is to not feel self-conscious, like there's imposter syndrome popping into your head, or anything of that nature. I like this star as your crowning card. I think it portends really good things. When we look at the expanded forecast in a little bit, we'll go a little deeper, but so far so good, folks. All right. Heightened intuitive abilities, heightened creativity, also the ability to manifest both your hopes and your fears. So let's go for the hopes and dreams, not the fears. High Priestess, one of the most connected cards when it comes to major arcana, very good for manifesting. A good leader, a good communicator. There's really nothing that the High Priestess can't do well, because she can usually intuit things even if it isn't spelled out in black and white. So I think the important thing for you to do is to tune in, to trust yourself, and to really listen and know that you're more powerful than you may give yourself credit for. And I'm just looking back here, and this card was reversed. So what I don't want you to do is to, again, miss an opportunity because you second guess yourself. I do get a feeling of rapid movement with some of these pages and nights that are coming through. So I don't want you to miss out on something because you were thinking, oh, it can't happen, or I'm not ready, or I don't know. Yeah, this is a powerful month for you. In fact, nice segue into how you're showing up. A lot of people, when they're brand new at reading, they get a little bit nervous when they see the death card. For me, I'm not. I'm curious about what's around it. And it's such a positive spread here. Like, this is where it showed up, so it's representing you. So this is more change within oneself. There's a second card here, which is also modifying, a change of speed. Things are speeding up a little bit. But what we're also seeing here is your ability to step into the spotlight, to redefine, and we see a happy outcome here. So change can be good. A death or a loss or movement in your life can be good because it opens doors. So never look at one card with fear, look at it with curiosity, because they all have multiple meanings. For you, it's about peeling back the layers. So we even see it here with death, and then the person, and then the skeleton, and it's almost like this Russian doll where there's layers upon layers upon layers. So just when you think something's over, it's probably just beginning, and there's something bigger, better, bolder that's waiting for you. So the challenge this month is a question from the universe. Are you ready to walk away from something or let something go? Could even be, by the way, a project or something that you care about, just birthing it, because otherwise it's stagnating. So change is necessary. It's just a matter of how do you want to change this month, and what do you want to change this month? You are allowed to change your mind, and you can communicate a change of heart or mind as well. So the Prince or the Knight of Swords in reverse is saying, I need to take a moment back, a couple steps back. I might need to go in this direction. I might need to edit a contract. I might need to revise what I said. Maybe I even need to apologize and there's more information. This is about really acknowledging you've grown, that you've grown, and that you want to communicate how and why you want to sort of like shift your direction next. And that's a sign of growth when you can see that and say, I thought this was it, but it's actually this. And yes, I'm sure. I've given it thought. So you're allowed to change your mind. Just know that when you change it, there's a lot of shifts that happen with this. It's a big movement, but it can be good. Again, big movements can be marriage, divorce, starting a job, quitting a job, moving. big sort of life events. So just think of this as one of those cool opportunities that's going to allow for more. What we see here is that this is not the final page of the story. This is your environment. We have judgment. Judgment is a call to action. We see Gabriel there saying, you've been chosen, or this is how it's going to be, and you have a choice to follow the call or to go in your own direction. These two cards, even though they don't follow each other directly, they're definitely related. This, like in our own spiritual journey, at the end of our days, this happens, then this happens. We think that it's it, but it's not. There's like this whole new thing. And I've had the honor and gift to be able to connect with many of my relatives who have passed. And it's always interesting to see the surprise. I had a maternal aunt who visited me, and I recognized who she was. And I said, is that you? And she said, yeah. I said, isn't this cool? She said, it's something. She was trying to figure out like what it was like to be on the other side. I asked my mom if, she was happy on the other side. She said, well, I'd be a fool not to. It's just really different. It wasn't what I expected. So give yourself the ability to be surprised that, in this lifetime, in others, and after this lifetime. Nothing is exactly how we think it will be. I love all the birds here, though. You are being guided. It wasn't an accident that I was connecting to corvidae and ravens and crows this morning. So pay attention if you live in a part of the world where you're lucky enough to see birds of prey like that, and kind of like see what's going on when you cross the path of one of them and see what message they're kind of bringing through. But I can tell you a couple things with judgment. The first thing is you have to believe in yourself. If you don't have that belief, others won't. You have to be able to recognize a synchronicity when it opens up. Lucky people are aware people. They're tuned in. And that was my warning about the High Priestess reversed. As long as you're tuned in, you can see the door open and you're like, oh, yeah, let's do it. Oh, okay, this is what it's all about. Not second guessing and waiting and letting someone else go through that door. So you have a chance right now, but there is a question of belief and self-confidence. It's going to be important here. Around you, there could also be major changes. You could also be going through, we can take them at face value. You might have lost a loved one. You might have lost a job. You might have lost something that was really important, but you're noticing now that it's opened up new opportunities for you as well. So whatever the loss is, I also see an open door or an open window. All right, let's move beyond this reinvention. Last thing with this, Phoenix rising from the ashes. Something didn't work, something better will. You have this sort of ability to just keep coming back stronger and stronger each and every time, much to the chagrin of people that may try to get the better of you. It's not going to happen, not in this lifetime. All right, what's knocking? Opportunity. Here in Hope, Spheres, and Opportunity, we have the Ace of Swords. This could be an offer on the table, particularly when it comes to a contract of some sort. So if you're trying to buy a house, if you're trying to get married, or any, especially legal contracts, but it's inviting, it looks good. Remember what we talked about earlier, which was if there's something that needs to be changed or revised, do it. This is a revisionary card, the Knight in the reverse. And you have a good chance of getting what you want. Maybe not every single thing, because the center card was Six of Pentacles reversed, but a good percentage, and it's worth it. And it is about finding the balance and finding the mutual sort of balance there. Six of Pentacles, it's a realistic card here. So it's saying, you may reach for 70, 80%, whatever, but you might only get about 60% of what you wanted, but it's a good amount. So reach a little bit higher. There's a little back and forth. It can be either way. It could be like a 30% less than what you were expecting, but you're still happy at the end of the day. It's still a good amount. 30 to 40% with this. Probably closer to 40 because it was the Six of Pentacles, but it's still good. Ace of Swords, speak up. The squeaky wheel gets the oil or whatever. Same thing here. Like in life, sometimes it's just the people that speak the loudest that get attention. So if you're intelligent, reserved, and always waiting for your turn, I'm giving you a little push this month. Be a little bit bolder, speak up a little bit more, show the preparation, allow people to see the insight, and surprise some people around you that thought maybe that you were just quiet. If you're already outspoken, then fine. This card is just connecting with the ability for people to hear what you're saying. I will say this, try to make it worth everyone's while. The ace is actually singular. It doesn't mean volume, and it doesn't mean quantity. It means that the quality is there, though. You have to speak up a few times. When you speak and you speak with integrity, intelligence, and passion, that's better than just speaking all the time. So at least speak up once or twice, and when you do it, really make it count. That's my message, just for the shy folks out there. Guess what? A good month for, surprise, surprise, partnerships. So for some of you, it's the symbiotic energy that we keep seeing with the wolf and all the birds on here. For some of you, this could be love. For those of you looking for love, this could be a karmic partnership. We have a page and a king. The interesting thing with this, and there's some other energies here, including the knight, but I'm getting familial. So when I look at partnerships, I'm not just looking at your person, although it could be your person. This can also be someone that you just met in life, like a good friend or a neighbor or something. But what I get is a family bond from the past life. This could be child or brother or sister, and you seem to be on the older side of this exchange. So what's coming through is power readjustment. So in the past, you were here, they were here. In this lifetime, you're more here, but there could be this tug of war as you're like, but I'm used to this role. And they're really trying to show that they have what it takes. So in new love in particular, which we'll look at in a few moments, that's going to be the challenge, is making sure that it's like, it doesn't matter. We can both lead occasionally, so just keep that in mind as you're bringing new things in. What I like about this in the outcome is we see you generally trending towards a more satisfied energy, your heart opening up a bit. Look at this at the bottom. We have a little serpent or a little octopus arm coming in. There could be someone that's trying to keep a hold on you or tag on you or something like this. Sometimes this is an ex, sometimes this is a parent. So one of the challenges is finding your freedom, I think, in your heart, in your choices, but I do see love coming through. It's kind of interesting that he's tossing one of the cups over his shoulder. So there could again be letting go of one thing and then something better comes in, an upgrade. So always leave some room in the universe to be surprised beyond your wildest dreams. Because as imaginative as we all are, who knows if we are able to see all that's possible. The Judgment card and the Star card are important there, though. You have to see that value. We're going to expand to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with the Health card. Health is mind, body, and spirit. Always a reminder that I'm not a substitute for a doctor, a financial advisor, or a counselor of any sort. But I am here to help you as an intuitive look at the energy. And as we look at the energy of health, it's about birthing. So on a very metaphysical and esoteric sort of energy, this is about seeing something, the potential of something before it happens. This is about letting go of some part of your life. Again, an old job, an old way of being, and then reinventing yourself. So when you go through the energy of death and rebirth in this life in a figurative sense, or even environmentally, losing someone, losing a job, losing physical sort of objects because of, maybe a flood or a fire or something, there's still a mourning process. So some of you are, at the same time as the birthing is happening, there's also the mourning. So give yourself time, give yourself support, give yourself space. I mentioned I'm not a substitute for a counselor. This is a perfect time to talk to a counselor. So all of those things are important here. Birthing is a little scary. Think about what it's like for a baby to come into this world. They have complete dependency on other people. They can't speak. They come out of this safe space and then they're kind of like in this, new world. And so birthing is exhilarating, but it's also discombobulating. It's like, where am I? Pinch me. So give yourself time to get used to the environments and the environment around you. All right. But it is exciting and it is a new phase for you. So let's look at the cards here and see what additional energies are coming through with respect to health this month. Again, mind, body, and spirit when I'm looking at health. So the health messages: don't overextend. Six of Pentacles, knowing exactly how much, how often, etc. That's going to be key for you. Stress and trying to meet up to the expectations of others, definitely really a key factor for many of you. I think some of you are in your head too much this month. It could be because you're overworking or overthinking. And some of you may not be able to help that. It's just a lot that's going on. So again, I'm every chance I get here, I'll say, if you need to talk to a counselor, talk to someone, because there's a lot of energy going on, or a friend, or your best your best and most trusted sort of friends and colleagues, this is the time to do that. I think your emotional state will get into a better state towards the end of the month because we see progression here, but it's a lot. There's a lot of heavy emotions with these two cards coming through. Visibility, pressure, disbelief, and then the movement between old and new. But I do see exhilaration. I do see progress. I'm not seeing many cards that are kind of like causing me to be concerned about anything. Some of you might be having a baby. Some of you might be thinking of extending your family or adopting a pet or something of that nature. But I do see new additions coming through for some of you. And this is a nest as well. So definitely connecting to that. It changes everything when you add someone to your life. I know, like, even that beautiful little fur baby behind me, the other day he had an upset tummy and I had to take him to the vet. And for a day I was giving him baby food and I've been cooking his food for him for the last day or so. I'm like, buddy, we call them fur babies for a reason because they depend on us, right? It's my pleasure to do it, but I was like, okay, I got to go to the store, I got to buy this, got to cook this. And it is very much like having a new baby sometimes, even after like 7 years of having the honor of caring for this little guy. So give yourself time and patience if that's going on. It can create a lot of stress. You could be getting up in the middle of the night to feed your baby or your dog or whatever if you just got a puppy. So I totally get it. Take care of yourself in this instance, okay? Let's move on to wealth, which is resources, life purpose, and career. I don't call it just career because not all of us are working. Some of us are students, some of us are retired, some of us just don't have a traditional job. So I call it wealth because it's what brings value to your life. All right, so looking at wealth, we have, surprise, surprise, change. I didn't even see this because it was hidden. So we have death, we have rebirth, we have death, birth, rebirth, and change. Are you getting the sort of general vibe? Change is underway, and it's hitting a lot of different areas. It says, I understand now that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Amen to that. Let's look at that close up. That's beautiful. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Because otherwise it would always be like the seed pod. Nothing would push through the soil. But the pushing through is the most difficult part, right? If you've ever watched a bulb or a seed or something new grow, it's like you want to make sure the roots grow and you're waiting for that sprout so that you can kind of take a deep breath. And it's a lot of energy that goes through and a little bit of faith and hope that, the sun's going to shine, the environment will be okay. So change isn't easy, but it looks like it's necessary. Either you need to be able to grow where you're at, or you need to go where you can grow. Another bumper sticker. Go where you can grow. All right, the more you know. Let's look at the cards here. I do like your general center card here. You have what it takes to find what you're looking for or do what you need to do. It's the base card for success. It may not be what you want. You may want a lot more, but it feels like you can get what you need to get by this month, which is at its core what I'm hoping for you. I definitely concur that change is underway and necessary. You get to have a say in it because we have the High Priestess. So it feels like some of you may be stagnating in whatever it is that you're spending your time and energy on, whether it's study, work, or extracurricular. Some of you may feel that people around you have difficulty seeing you, or you have difficulty seeing yourself in a new role. The sooner you can let go of that and answer the call, the better it will be. You are the initiator. You are the agent of change. You're not waiting for someone to come in and change your life. You change your own life. And I do see happiness. I think that this is change for the better, for sure. I think some of you have the ability to make a big splash. When we're looking at Six of Wands and star energy, and we have King of Cups in the outcome, these are amazing on their own. These are really substantial. So you could change your career trajectory. I had to do this again, and it wasn't easy, folks. I've been doing it for 8 years. I've been working really, really hard, and I've never really taken a day off, actually, since I left my day job. I work really hard, but it's easier now because it's what I want to do. And what I was doing before, I didn't. But it took me a while to crank the wheel from where I was to where I'm at. And I'm still pivoting and adding and changing sort of things as I go. So Don't be afraid to do the work. It could lead you to a really extraordinary destination, but I think sometimes in the days of social media, we think it all happens overnight. It doesn't, and there's a lot of work behind the scenes. So don't be afraid to do the work. Don't expect everything immediately. Do have a good time doing whatever you're doing. That's the most important thing. Change whatever it is in your life because it feels better, because it is giving you back beyond, like before the paycheck ever happens. Are you just having fun? Are you just making a difference? Do you just feel better at the end of the day? If that's there, then the success, then the pay, then the recognition typically finds its way to you. But the joy and the passion have to be there. And that's really what the reset wants to kind of bring through in this moment in time. Some of you might want to go back to school. Some of you might also be picking up something that you did before and finishing it now. And it's already in a really nice place of completion, FYI. Feels like, again, 60, 70% done, very close to the finish line. Now you have the life experiences to finish what you started, whether it was creative or physical, like a room or something like that that you wanted to renovate. Whatever it was, you had to get your head in the right place, and it looks like your head is in the right place. And that's all I have to say. This is a month where you can do anything that you put your mind to. Take some time to get your mind cleared. And remember what I talked about, tying it to the channel messages earlier. People are looking at you. We saw that, not in a weird way, but like in a way where if you show up and really show your potential, they're like, oh, wow, okay, you're the one. This is what I've been waiting for, okay? That's exciting. I think that's exciting anyway. All right, we're going to move along to the next piece, which, is love. So with love here, we have I trust my gifts as the first card, and I see this from a higher perspective. Again, I love it when there's synchronicities here. So the higher perspective card is nicely connected to the bird's eye view that I've been talking about with all the crows and ravens. And this is the main card that was reversed, but it was saying I trust my gifts. This is nicely connected to the high priestess, who was reversed. These two were reversed. This one also is the star, and we got the star. So good things are happening to you for a reason. And I don't know why it's hard for us to understand that sometimes, but if something good is happening, it's happening because you worked hard. It's happening because the universe believes in you. It wants to take a chance on you. You have to take a chance on yourself too, okay? And that's why in the center of this here, again, we see that representation of taking a chance right there with the dice. So roll the dice, see what happens. It's your chance to shine, trust in what it is that you feel most passionate about. When you're a little kid, hopefully we're getting away from this now in this new century, but definitely in the previous century, there were problems with this where teachers would try to project out sort of like feelings and parents and society. It was all around, it was intrinsic. But if you didn't choose something like doctor or lawyer or whatever, they'd be like, oh, I don't know. Like something that was just left of center. I don't know if you can make money on that. I was interested in writing and they were like, well, you should try to find something else, maybe journalism. And I listened, and I probably shouldn't have. I'm happy that I got that because it helps me ask questions, but my passion was in creative writing. What journalism allowed me to do was ask tough questions, which I have to do all the time with the cards, and summarize things, and also like get to the point. So I appreciate that, but trust in your spirit-given gifts, and your potential best. So if you want to be a pianist, if you want to be a painter, if you want to be a cook, a chef, culinary arts, whatever, it's up to you. That's your gift. And all of these things can be wildly successful if the passion is there. And you got to trust your higher perspective. It's coming through in relationships, which is interesting because there could be I was mentioning there could be a parting of the ways or divergence. Sometimes it's with the ones that we love the most, right? Your husband or wife, your mom or dad, your brother or sister. And they know you so well, but they don't necessarily know you, like the true you, because we still sometimes put these onion layers around, like we saw with the death card here. So you're peeling back the curtain a little bit and saying, this is what I am. Take me or leave me. And if there's unconditional love, they'll take it, trust me. And if there isn't, then you're blessed to know. All right, let's take a look at all the different levels of relationship. Again, also focusing on the wolf card here, which is instinct, trusting yourself, and going down the path that feels right for you. All right, first, we'll be looking at those in a current relationship or thinking about someone that they love a lot. It doesn't have to be romantic. Then those seeking out a partnership, and those that are happily single last. If you're in a current relationship, or if you just want to look at someone that you love a lot, it can be unconditional love. Let's see what's going on in that relationship. Well, for some of you, again, maybe for those of you that it's not about like romantic love, but it could be like a parent or a family member. They could be in a transitional energy, just like I went through last year. You may see it coming. They might know about this. It looks like there's some peace with all of this. The best thing that you can be there is an advocate, a friend. What can I do? How can I help you make sure that this is what you want? One thing that I had to kind of do, because I saw it before it happened with my mom, was I had conversations. She was a little afraid of death and dying. So I would just say things like, maybe we should add my name to this in case you ever need help with something. It's the flood, sorry. We're in California. Maybe I can help you out with this. I would just try to kind of ease her into that. And it's difficult sometimes, especially if you need to look at wills and trusts and things of that nature, but they're important conversations to have. It's a wake-up call, just like we heard the emergency broadcasting sound there. But do yourself a favor and have those important conversations, and also do it for yourself. Do it for your children or your family or your loved ones, and say, oh yeah, I got it. We're good. And that'll give them like a little bit of a sigh of relief. Okay? It's a weird thing to talk about, but it's an important thing to talk about here as well. All right, let's see what's going on here. All right, with the two of you, I actually feel like there's a decent balance going on. Real relationships are not typically 50-50. You're going to get something like 7 of Wands or 6 of Pentacles. It's like a 60-40 or 60-40, 70-30 split. Sometimes one partner's doing a lot and the other partner might be focusing on something else. So it feels pretty decent to me. It looks like you have a successful relationship. But for those that are in a really successful sort of sequence, there's some big life changes. I mentioned earlier, addition of a family member, like birth, someone moving in with you, maybe because someone passed away and now you're taking care of someone, like an elder parent. This could also be a massive move or change of job or career. So even though everything's solid, there's a lot of change. And as I mentioned earlier, that birthing process can be a little scary. So the cool thing here is I see love on a diagonal. Love in the past, love that's going to mature, because we've now gone from the page to the king. So I actually think you can get stronger. The conduit is communication and also imagination. These are not ends. This is a beginning of something stronger. So current relationships can actually lean into the change, support one another, communicate, and grow. Some of you might be dealing with the loss of someone that you love. You're going to need people around you more than ever. So this is a time to reach out. You don't have to be a lone wolf. You need the pack during those periods. And speaking from experience, it's true. You need friends. You need people that you can trust. And then let me see if there's anything else. I think that's it. I will say the one thing that I'm definitely picking up on across the board is karmic relationships. So whether you're in love, looking for love, or single and happy, there are karmic relationships karmic relationships popping back into your life. And it's different this time. That's the important thing. It's a new script. And that's what I mentioned. And that'll be the most challenging thing, is to see each other in a different way. Okay? What else can I look at? I think that's the key thing here. I love that it ends on a note of love. For some of you, I very rarely look at this in this perspective. It could be coming back together. There could be reconciliation. It could also just be forgiveness and a gentle parting of the ways if you need to, because this is the end, but it's not acrimonious. It's actually positive with this. So many things to look at with current relationships. It's an important month. I feel like healthy ones will get healthier. I feel like the ones that need to end can end, but on a positive note. And I feel that some of you may just be dealing with a lot of environmental changes, but change is a constant throughout, because I'm doing a general here. Okay, so as we look at those that are seeking love, probably going to find a karmic relationship, probably going to be on the heels of a major change in your life. Let the dust settle. You might need to move first. You should also be looking at, I feel like career is important this month. So sorting out your money, sorting out your career, or sorting out your affairs for those of you that are retired. Once that happens, it's an invitation from the universe that you're ready. Everything, the foundation has been laid and you're ready for, the next step, the next upgrade, whatever it is. But I love that we got the star. I love that we got death. This is a soulmate from a past life. The karma feels pretty good. Little bit of power struggle to happen and to be worked out there. But once that's gone, it feels pretty good to me. So if you're looking for a new relationship this month, probably a water sign, getting a lot of past life energy here and a potential for success. If you can work through the fact that for whatever reason, they could be maybe a little younger, a little older, someone has a little more money, someone has a little bit more status, something's going on and it feels like you want what the other has or vice versa. So it's just about getting used to the fact that in this lifetime, there was supposed to be a changing of the tables. Remember this, like energy attracts like energy. You're more similar than dissimilar. The circumstances around you may have created some external forces that show difference, but on a soul level, there's still compatibility. But you have to wrap your head around that. That's the challenge. If you're single and you're happy to be single, good for you. This is a really good time to excel in all things, really. Specifically when we're looking at growing your money, your resources, really great time for manifesting and birthing something new, creative projects, creative endeavors. It's also just a great time for reinvention. And for those of you that want to create change in the world at large, you are, what is it called? Disruptor. If you're a disruptor and an agent of change and you want to change policies and laws and opinions and fashion and all that jazz, well, this is your month. Because I can't pull any more cards that say change. I really don't think there are many more. I can. There's the 6 of Swords and there's the 4 of Swords, but the night is young. Let's see what else comes through. So far, so good. It's a great month to create change. It's a great month to be seen. It's a good month for marketing campaign. This is a little bit related to wealth. I didn't talk about it. Make a splash this month. Do a little bit more with social media. Do a little bit more with marketing. Really get the word out there, and that's going to be key. Okay. Let's look at destiny. What's it all about? Where are you headed? Let's take a look. In the destiny card, we have don't hate, meditate. Okay, so slowing it down just a little bit. In everyday tarot cards, this would probably be closely connected to both High Priestess and Temperance. Temperance is about slowing down and tuning in. And so with the card in reverse, it's impatience. And it's basically saying, if you act without intention, then you're not as, what's the best word? You're just not as effective. So I want you to be highly effective. And I think the best way to do that is to have a clear vision. The best way to have a clear vision is to tune in. The only way to tune in is to slow down and to meditate. So I agree with the cards here. The overall destiny trend here, as we look at deep past, near future, and outcome, is knowing your heart. And that was a trend this week as I was looking at all the daily card reads. You went from that place of being sort of like pulled down and pulled back to opening of the heart, to finding balance, to sort of like being happy at the end of all of this. So we're definitely connected with the weekly trend, not just that, also the monthly trend. So to be really comfortable in your shell, you have to know yourself. And I think that's the internal lesson, and this is the payoff. I mentioned that the star, it's kind of like what you got on papers as a kid. The star is like the gold star. Job well done. Now you get something cool because of the work that you did. For you, instead of the devil, you're working through change. You're working through death. So it's okay. It will be okay. It's just an adjustment. It's just a new phase of the journey. Okay? And then you're going even further than I saw for the weekly trend with this. This is the penultimate or second to last card in expansion judgment. Let's take a look at the big idea for this month. What's this sort of taking you to next? What's the potential if there's a door that's opening? What's your North Star? Let's find out. Two of Swords, but reversed, which is good, believe it or not. In the upright position, sometimes we are feeling this sense of being trapped by choices or maybe a lack of clarity or vision. You turn the card upside down and the path reveals itself to you, or you start to understand that even though we like to think everything is black and white, it's not. There is a lot more that's in the gray. And so your choice is your choice alone, and how you carry yourself, what you do with that choice, that's what really brings it value. All the Two of Swords and Two of Pentacles are, after many, many years of reading, They boil down to choices. Two of Pentacles, choice of investment. And then the Two of Swords, choice of action and choice of thoughts and energy. So for you, it's sort of like, do I want to keep going down this path, or do I want to do, where can I make the biggest impact? You could just think of this as an Ace of Swords, which, surprise, surprise, you got. So what are you going to do with that ace? What are you going to do with your voice and your actions to make a difference? Where do you feel like you can make the biggest impact? That's what's most important. Usually that piece can be clear. It may not be the path that pays the most or that's most popular, but I mentioned earlier that popularity and usually money and opportunity come later once you're really aligned to your soul path and soul purpose. Let's take this a step deeper and now go into sun, rising, and moon messages for the sign of Leo and see what's coming through. Okay, sun is 2. It is what it is. Sun, rising, moon. Okay, we got all the majors here. Were they all majors? And then one minor. Okay, pretty cool stuff. This is powerful today, Leo. You guys, I could feel the energy when I was going to bed last night. This is something that's only started maybe in the last year, but like it was palpable. And I thought, is there a spirit in the room? No, it's just the energy of the reading. So I had to kind of meditate and clear my head a little bit so I could tell that it was going to be a buzzin' reading today, and it is. So we're going to start first with sun sign messages here. We have the Lovers, first and foremost. It is reversed. So this is about unconditional love and understanding one another. So let's look at the card a little closer. It's kind of interesting because we see almost what looks like, reminds me of like lungs or something here in the fountain. But the Lovers are looking at each other. And this is one of the key differences between the Devil card and the Lovers card. Usually in traditional Rider-Waite-Smith or derivatives, you see the Lovers looking at each other, and the Devil, they're kind of looking to the side and they're chained together. So the most important thing here is to see eye to eye, to have open communication, to speak heart to heart on matters that really are important to you the most, and give each other a chance to have some freedom. Unconditional love is the freedom to decide, the freedom to make mistakes, the freedom to explore. And for many of you, you're either kind of like rallying up support for that unconditional love, or you need to give it yourself. So that's the main thing here. If something good happens, it's happening for a reason. Don't second guess it. Underneath it, we have Medusa in the Five of Wands. She's reversed. This is one of the coolest Five of Wands because it can indicate the power also in like nonverbal communication. If looks could kill, right, they would be, they are Medusa. So with Medusa, we really want to focus on the ability to see something's potential, not stop it before it started, to really embrace opportunity. And that's what I'm seeing with this. This is a month to do the work, and the snakes came through in my dreams. So here's the thing. You may not love where you're working or who you're working with, but don't bite the hand that feeds. Try to find a different path if this isn't where you want to be. Don't put too much mind or energy into what other people are doing. Put it into what you're working on and what you're doing. Love yourself, love others, love your path, and if you don't, change the path. But FYI, if you're looking for love, good month to look for love. If you're trying to get a job or trying to get noticed, good month for that. This is a very visible card. It's nicely connected to the star, who also came through reversed. So basically, to get these cards upright, don't second guess yourself. Don't try to make someone feel something that they don't. And if the universe gives you something good, say thank you. That's kind of what I'm getting for that. Moving on to the rising, we have the Hermit reversed, coming out of your shell, knowing that maybe you've done enough research, some of you, and it's time to show up. Not forgetting to do the research, either way, just making sure that the homework is done. And when it's done, it's done. The Hermit card is also saying that if we spend too much time in isolation or without sharing or interfacing with the people around us, sometimes we run the risk of doing unnecessary work. So communication's key. And in fact, you got the Ace of Swords. So communicate status, communicate concerns, just communicate this month. That's going to be the single strongest tool that you have in your arsenal to be successful. But this is the card of wisdom. I would put like a character like Gandalf on that card. This is someone who keeps to themselves, knows what they want to do, knows their power. And this is a month to use the power and use the insight in a good way. Some of you might want to go back to school. might be training or learning something new. And this is a great card associated with knowledge expansion and personal growth. So if you're doing any of that stuff, you're on the right path. But come up for air because the card was reversed. All right, we're now looking at moon sign messages, and we have the Tower. And the Tower card is, again, it precedes the star. It's a good sign. And what it's saying is whatever you're going through, it's shaken up the foundation just enough so that you can see the light of day, so that you can sometimes get moved into something better. If you stay too long in a job or relationship, what the Tower will come in and do is sometimes, like in a company, it goes bankrupt, or there's layoffs, or there's a new boss, you don't like him, and you leave on your own volition. In a relationship, it can be any number of things that just kind of eventually kind of pull the two of you apart, usually environmental, usually sort of like quick. It's the universe saying, enough now. We really need you out now. I gave you several signs. Now you need to move. So since the card is upright, let's look at a couple things here. First of all, we can see the person grasping at the Tower. We can look at this as two ways. It's trying to hold on to something that no longer serves you. It's also saying, oh, I see why this is happening. I'm going to take a little bit of this, a little bit of this. I'm going to let the rest of that go, and I'm going to rebuild from that. Taking what you can positive from a situation and using that to what? Rise from the ashes. Because you got all the majors that we need, the major arcanas, to really succeed. So the Tower doesn't surprise me. If the star came through in the crowning position, some of you are going through the Tower. It's the reward that's waiting. The star is the reward for this. So just push through the change. I said I couldn't get another card, but I did. I forgot about the Tower. So the Tower has changed, the Four of Swords, the Six of Swords, but it's okay no matter how you look at it. All you have to focus on is the last two cards here with the star and I should say the crowning and that one. It's basically going to bring you into a really good position. Okay? So it's a month to shake it up, change it up, move it around, do something different, and embrace whatever that reveals to you as the next opportunity. You are the star. There's going to be some good stuff coming through in the days and weeks ahead. All right. We're going to move here shortly on to the final part of the reading, which comprises a final card. So if there's a question I didn't answer, scribble it down so you don't forget. And then also a meditation. Do me a favor. First time I've asked the whole reading. Subscribe if you like this. We're really close to a milestone. Actually, we're even closer than I thought. We're only 3,000 away. So we'll hit it this month, and I'll do a Q&A. And if you subscribe, you'll know when that is. And if you're already a member, you can ask me a question, and I might answer it. All right? You can join me across social media for reminders. I just posted some things about my newsletter and other things on social today, so always follow me there if you haven't already. Remember, I don't offer readings. I don't have backup accounts. If you need to figure out who I am and where I'm at, go to my website, and all the addresses are there. And if you want to show some support, you can do that through a super sticker or super chat. All right, let's get ready for the meditation today. Clearly, it's about change. And I love the idea of the birds. So you don't have to be a raven, but I like the idea of the birds coming through to kind of help you find what you need to find. So if you would be so kind, please close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, and tune into your body. Letting go of any tension that you might be holding on to, wherever that tension may be. Each of our bodies are different. Let it go with a couple of deep breaths. Allow yourself to simply focus on the energy of breathing. That was something that came through when I was sleeping last night too. So remember to take the deep breaths and enjoy those deep breaths. Imagine now that it is a new day that is dawning. See yourself possibly kind of soaring above the ocean, dancing through the rays of sunlight, and follow one of those rays to a point on the horizon where there's something shining, something beautiful. For each of you, this is going to be something different. It's the star that's waiting for you after the challenge and the change that you've been through. Focus on being surprised. Follow your heart. See what the universe has to show. And for those of you that have a hard time visualizing, just imagine the warmth and the light and the freedom that's going to be a part of flying. So you feel this energy of warmth and heat and light as you're soaring along that ray of light, and you feel the freedom of gliding. You can imagine that. You don't have to see it. You could just feel like you're free falling. You could feel the warmth and the light of the sun, and imagine that you're drifting closer to something really good. And that's actually just a great meditation technique. Something great is coming. It's going to be easy. It's a breeze, literally. So just feel like it's a breeze and enjoy the journey. right, imagine yourself slowly drifting towards the planet, landing on a place where you feel supported, seeing something beautiful, something amazing, and knowing that it's within reach. It's within arm's reach. You just have to continue to work hard and continue to see the potential. Allowing now the sun to fill up your heart, allowing your heart to spread that light through your body, taking a few deep breaths at your leisure. On the third breath, a nice deep exhale, and open your eyes. Once your eyes are open, I'd like you to focus on your final question or your final card here that we're going to be looking at. It can be anything that you want. If your eyes aren't yet open, please open them now, and let's focus on that question. Okay, we got two. I honor the cards. If they want to stick together, they stick together. So you have two cards, and they're both amazing. So we have the Sun and we have the Ace of Wands. It's fire both ways. But the Sun card is right in this energy of birthing. If there was any doubt that when it comes to health and the new you, that it should be about this sort of rebirth, here it is. Love the energy on this one. And look at the rays of light. Look at what they're doing. Their hands outstretched, reaching towards the opportunity. Such a beautiful synchronicity with what we just meditated on. And then guess what? You've opened up that opportunity. Meditate on this. Go back and replay this at your convenience and leisure because we got some powerful cards showing that there was magic in what we just did, a really cool manifestation. So I love that all of you are tuned in and creating something beautiful in your lives. The power is always with you. So good job, folks. As a yes, no, it's a yes. As a timeline, it's imminent because this is usually a 1 or a 10, and it all reduces to a 1, so it's here and now. And then, gosh, I hate Roman numerals. What is this, 19 or whatever? But I would say it's within the next few days or weeks here. Within this month, you can really accomplish what you want. This can also represent a new, for some of you, a solar return, but for some of you, this new sort of cycle that's happening. So what you're doing now will set into motion changes for the year ahead. Beautiful stuff, folks. My honor, my pleasure to read for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to everybody that made some time to watch me live or later on replay. Again, you make it worthwhile and you make it fun and engaging for me. Every time I show up, it's a little bit different. I'd like to say thank you to my longtime members. I can see a lot of folks there with the green text on the handles. Like I said, I'll be doing something special for the members soon here. When I hit the milestone, you'll have a chance to ask me questions. I want to welcome the newest members and then say thanks to anybody that gave back with the super sticker, and then we'll wrap up for today. All right, the newest members, there was already a couple when I logged in this morning, but Michelle, Debbie, Nicola, thank you so much. I think Claudia and Tina M had already sort of added their memberships before today, but thank you as well. All right, now for super stickers and super chat, and then we'll wrap up. Give me just a second. And then just a reminder that I'm live every Monday, Thursday, Friday for all of the monthly readings, every Sunday for a 7-day forecast, and every day for a 1-card reading. So you can check out my main channel page. If you have any questions, you can look at the link here. You want to go to live, the live tab to find the old stuff, or the playlists. That's where it's all organized. Okay, so thank you so much to Latanya for kicking things off earlier, and Jeannie and Pearl. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed today. And let's see, I think I got one more here. I don't see a name attached with that one, but thank you to whomever just gave me 5. I appreciate that too. And also, yeah, welcome to the newest channel members. I saw we have a couple that joined here. All right, guys. Lots of love and light to you. You have an exciting month ahead. Embrace the change. It's change for the better. And keep me posted in the comments and let me know what new and exciting things are kind of shaking down for your sign this month, okay? Until I see you again, have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks.